Welcome to Youth Group Rejects. I'm Rose-Ingrid.
I'm Laura Wilcox.
And today we have a special guest.
Bryce
Miss
Dymond.
I was gonna full on like introduce him. I'm like Mississauga's finest.
Oh, Mississauga.
Saga.
You know, former
We here.
pastor,
Saga's
basketball fan extraordinaire, host of I should know the name of your podcast,
Jurassic View.
Views. I knew it was Views.
Okay.
You know,
That's a
the
good name.
number one Raptors podcast out there. I don't know.
It's Ottawa's Raptors podcast.
Also Ottawa famous.
You know, Ottawa's number one Raptors podcast.
There's two.
There's two of them
Two of them.
in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
The other guys don't put out as many episodes as we
Look
do.
at that.
But they do
Out
put
here
out a lot.
overachieving.
Oh, wow.
But they're subpar. You're a winner.
Oh yeah, welcome to the pod, bro.
I'm down. I'm ready.
we're. I mean, usually we're unmedicated. I'm medicated today.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know if it's working, but
Okay.
I'm on
So
100
the
milligrams.
hinges are on, is what you're saying.
I mean, according to the doctor, this is the highest dose you can take of this version of legal meth. So
Okay.
I'm on 100 mgs of Focus right now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's working.
I'm on the illegal shit.
I've tried that.
Wait a second.
Wait.
I feel like chugging
Illegal
hummus right
meth?
now.
Fuck.
She's going hard today.
Yeah.
I forgot the naloxone kit at home. It's on top of my fridge.
Jeez.
Okay.
Anyways, welcome.
Hey, thank you.
So good to have you here.
It's been a long time since you and I have seen each other, Rose-Ingrid. I wish we saw each other this week, but
No.
now we're
we're here. Oh, we saw each other. Last time we saw each other was in Toronto.
It was in
Oh my
Toronto.
gosh.
Yes, it was.
Remember we went to see Burna Boy together
What a time.
What a time.
when you passed out. And we thought you were gonna fucking crow.
We thought you were dead. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do
He
we have a
was
therapist here? Because I might need one.
he was like, woo! He had his concerned face
Yeah,
on.
I did. I had definitely.
He was hella concerned.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
too, but I function well under crisis.
Yeah. When I came to
Much
it,
better than me.
I've been
I'm not good in those kind of moments.
you're quick though. You got the help. Well,
Yep, I
the
can
help was
run
slow,
in
but you
panic moments like a
Yeah,
zebra.
I told him to go. I was like,
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, you need to get them now. You know? Yeah, well, I've been trained my entire life. You know, the world's been crumbling all of my life, either in my head or in reality. So when shit goes down, I'm like, oh, of course it went down.
you're used to living in crisis.
yeah. You know, shout out to my parents.
Singular.
How about this? There's security guards that night.
Wastemans?
Oh my gosh, they were brutal. Brutal.
I was ready to
Especially-
fight.
Oh, you were.
Yo, I'm like, y'all
Guard
forget,
your drill,
I'm a
knuckle
hood
up.
nigga. Like, let's not get it twisted. I was not raised in a nice place with nice people. I used to fight.
Yep.
And though I work a corporate job and I've spent time in the Lord,
You had the adamantium claws waiting to
bro,
just.
I think also like I have a sprinkle of autism and just a dollop, just a
Little sprinky
just
sprink.
a little shaker of autism. And the research says that like folks who are autistic have a high sense of justice, and so I just have no time for people being fucking wrong.
I would say Enneagram 8s also
Yeah,
have
I'm
a lot of
also-
justice in you, so it could come from
I'm
column A or
also,
column B.
maybe the Enneagram 8 needs the autism. Who fucking knows? I took one of those home tests. It's not, but apparently no one who's neurotypical gets the number I got, even though it was low.
Interesting.
But I need to go pay a psychiatrist to tell me that. And I'm like, it's money.
So much money.
And I could just go read about it,
It's true.
and put in the tools.
Yeah.
Better know myself.
Mm.
There's
I trust
things.
you over probably 99%.
Appreciate that.
And psychiatrists.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Yeah,
I could have done that in another life.
Maybe you did.
Oh, jeez. Well,
There's a whole, I mean,
Is
you got
that-
a lot to live.
is that a
You got
multiverse
lot
where
of
my mom is
decades
proud
ahead
of me?
you.
No.
Yes, because I'm your
Just
doctor.
kidding.
You're like, I'm gonna be your inner voice. No, she'll never be proud of you. You're
Just sit in
always gonna
shame.
be worthless in her eyes.
Damn.
Well, that was an intrusive thought out loud, and I said thought like a French person just there.
Sometimes it comes
All kinds
to
of languages being spoken.
That's
Yo,
it.
I speak
Right?
4 languages badly. That's
and
my
you speak
thing.
in tongues.
I guess 5.
Five.
Yeah.
The Pentecostal. How's your week been?
Outside of the rain and Arsenal losing today, the Raptors are tanking, but it's spring. And when it's spring
Is it?
and snow is behind us, because it is
Hallelujah.
behind us. I'm not jinxing anything.
No,
It
no.
is behind us. This city is livable. So I'm quite happy to be in Ottawa in April when the snow is melted weeks ago.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Say it again.
That's how I feel.
That's the city. Livable for 4 months of the year.
Yeah,
And
you
then
might
just a-
squeeze out a fifth.
Might.
You might, depending
And
on
then
October
just
goes.
a dungeon of darkness.
And you're talking about the landscape, the cloud coverage, not the people when you say the darkness.
That's a different kind of cloud.
I mean, no, we're not possessed by some demon or something.
I mean, when Stephen Harper was here, there's a lot of possession happening.
Dude.
I don't know, man. I was still in the game. I feel like I felt happier about life back
wow.
then.
You were like, Israel flag waving kind of.
No, I don't think I
soon,
ever
too soon.
was a Zionist.
Okay.
I don't know if I had an opinion about Israel on that level.
Okay. You didn't go to that like house of prayer place.
I did, but like to pray.
Come on, they were wagging
But
that
I wasn't
flag
paying
all day.
attention.
Yeah.
I was like Christian. Those guys like thought that that Israel was God's chosen people, but no one else prayed of 24 hours, and I used to lead worship and shit, and like deep in the spirit, and we would pray for the nations.
Okay, not just the Holy Land.
Oh no, that wasn't enough to get me out of my house.
No, Israel Houghton is though.
I love Israel Houghton.
Yeah, so
That's
good.
a much better Israel right now.
Yes.
It is.
That's a much better
Also, he's
Israel.
totally married to a cheetah girl.
Yes.
Yeah, he like cheated on his wife
Gotcha.
because he was the worship leader at Joel Osteen's church.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Joel.
yeah.
He had
The one-
a big crop to pick from, some might say, in the
And
mega
then
church world. Wow, Israel. Damn.
left his wife. They divorced.
Yep.
And then the next time people who saw him publicly, he was dating Adrienne Bailan,
Okay.
the Latina from the Cheetah Girls. From the real, which talk show is she in? The one with the Maori twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
The
real?
View?
No, The View is Barbara Walters.
Yeah, you're right.
Barbara Walters. Israel Houghton with Barbara
It's-
Walters
no,
is
but
something
Why
to
can't I think
The
of what it
Real.
is? I
I think
watched
it's The Real. I think
Okay.
it's The Real. It's the purple. Anyway,
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the,
purple.
The talk show. And they're married and happy. I think people thought she was the one that he cheated with, but no, they're like, he was single when we started dating. I'm like, they seem happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. You know?
I'm still standing out there. Look, Israel Houghton, come to Ottawa in August
Wow.
for Capital Pride. Let's do a live at Capital Pride.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
That would be an
Wow.
incredible record.
Queer
Yeah.
brunch
No,
with
no.
Israel.
I'm talking like 2,000 seater at the National Arts Center, full band, fucking worship,
Sheesh.
queer worship leaders with them. I want you are Alpha and Omega with a room full of queers
Okay.
from all over the world.
Yeah.
Alive. That album will be a fucking record breaking album.
Damn.
Think
At
about
the
it.
NAC.
Why not?
I mean, that might actually put us on the map.
Alive at Capital Pride would be brilliant.
And it doesn't even have to be queers for Christ. You can just be queer.
No, look, everyone loves gospel music,
Yeah.
and I think he'd be the guy to do it. And I think that the one thing that queer folks lose when they come out is faith and spirituality. A lot of times, even if they're like want to be religious, it's a weird thing because like the pain from the church that you have, and then queer folks just like don't get it.
Okay.
Who don't grow up in that space, and there's a lot of judgment on both sides, so people
Right.
feel torn.
Yeah. Right.
There's actually some work being done around this city right now. I just got asked about potentially helping run some focus groups around
Ooh.
fairness and faith. We'll see. Yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
Important.
Israel, alive at Capital Pride. I'm telling you,
Wow.
be a big
Yeesh.
deal.
That is a big deal.
Yo, that would be. Oh, can you imagine an Israel Houghton album full of queers? #1 on the Christian records.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite worship songs or gospel songs?
Wow.
I love you fucking.
I was
skip.
just thinking about Karamo Brown being at
Oh
that
my
event.
God, I want it.
Oh.
Too bad they all hate each other because Bobby
speaking-
Burke used to be a worship leader and they're not friends.
Damn it.
Apparently none of them are friends.
On
Oh
the
yeah.
Queer Eye.
Oh yeah. It's been coming out. Are you not online, bro?
That's good.
No,
You're just,
apparently
It's on
it's-
Netflix. That's about as
Apparently
millennial
they
as
all
I get.
hate each other and they were just put together for the show and it's all for show. That's partially why Bobby left.
Okay, whoa. Anthony and JVN aren't even friends.
Apparently JVN is a jerk, according to the reports.
What?
And has been pulled aside for their behavior. Sorry.
Wow.
But again, allegedly.
Yeah, who knows?
Allegedly.
Who
According
knows?
to because there's been a bunch of stuff since Bobby left. But shout out to Bobby Burke.
Yeah.
Like
Come on the
Bobby.
pod.
He was adopted.
Let's
Woo!
talk about
He was.
adoption and
He was.
Jesus and church trauma.
It's a good time.
Again, is there a therapist?
I'm retired. There might be some inappropriate boundaries as well.
Fair. Do we have a multiverse set up this possible therapy session? Since you two, in other lifetimes, were
maybe.
psychiatrists. And
I mean,
therapists.
yeah. In the multiverse, there's a version of me that's maybe a shrink, and my mom's proud of me.
Okay.
And maybe I never became a Christian because I had low self-esteem.
Oh wow!
What's
Get the
that
drum
like?
beat on it.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Clearly, I've had a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your week.
I'm just burnt out.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a couple moments.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just surviving. I'm laying low
Mhm.
and watching Grey's Anatomy. That's how I'm spending. I've never watched it.
What season are you?
I'm on 7 now.
Okay, I lost it at like 3.
Bro, though, let me tell you.
Like
The
McDreamy
season-
and McSteamy.
No,
Like,
no. The
That when
season
they
6
first.
the season 6 finale, I was in the tub, which is
Okay.
what I've been doing to
Yeah.
just deal with life right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which is
Oh,
what Meredith does almost every episode.
bro, I've been in the tub like 4 times this week.
Yeah.
With
With Patrick Dempsey or by yourself?
a little bit of column A, a
sometimes.
little bit of column B. But he's not my
That's fair.
I'm not I don't I get it.
Yeah.
Like intellectually, I
Yeah.
assent to why everyone is into it, but I'm also like
But she doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing down there.
Okay.
But I was like in the tub the other night and season 6 episode 23 started and I was like, ah! I like jumped up. I screamed. There's a mass shooting. It was a whole thing.
Oh God.
Apparently it's a top 10
There's a mass shooting.
in the hospital.
Wow, I
It's a
really
2-part
missed that
season
Oh,
episode.
finale.
I think I did see that one. I
And
watched 3.
According to my friend, it's one of the top 10 great episodes ever. And I understand. I cried. Like I felt feelings. It was a roller coaster of emotions. Maybe not the best thing for me as I'm feeling my own emotions.
Right. Right.
Yeah, probably not something to add more cortisol to my body.
Yeah.
Alas, and I needed a breather afterwards. I definitely shut the computer off after the 2 episodes were done. I was like, all right, let's go get a snack. And then I got a snack.
Yeah.
Now there are lots of shows
Yeah.
and videos out there to watch.
Sure.
The other night, my daughter very seriously says to my wife and I, listen, I know it's late, like 8. I know it's almost bath
It's a
time.
9-year-old
I know
night.
it's almost bath time. She's 10. She's telling us how the night's going to go. But I have 2 videos for you to watch, Mom and Dad, that I think will make your night. You guys know Mr. Beast?
Yes.
Okay. Pretty big, right?
Yes.
He's even got chocolate bars in the grocery store.
He's like a YouTuber
Oh, okay. Okay.
Massive.
who's massive.
700
and he-
million
And he makes his
revenue.
money in part by like using his YouTube money to go help people. So go to Africa
Oh, I like
and
that.
build wells and then or give people their hearing back in like,
Like
some
actually supporting people.
Yeah. And then
Got it.
they those who consent to being on camera, he books those videos, they go viral, he makes more money, he brings it back. And now a lot of people think he's a fucking poser because he's doing it on camera. But I'm like, what do you want him not to help you? The reason why he has money to help people is because he has fucking videos.
Also, isn't it good to see good
Also,
things in the
would you-
world?
If
That's
I
what I'm
was
saying.
deaf
That's what
and
I'm
this
saying.
man made me hear when I live in America and there's no health care and you get charged $3,000 to hold your own baby, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Mm.
So we watched him bringing, doctors through his funds, giving hearing to 1,000 people
Seen that.
and sight to 1,000
Yeah.
people. Mostly in the States and
Yeah.
Mexico, but he also goes to other countries. I'm in tears.
Yeah.
I'm bawling. Like, my daughter just sitting there looking at us. She's not even watching the video.
Aw.
She's looking at us and being like, I told you.
You're gonna
That was a
feel
good way to
things.
end the night.
And I
She was
feel
right.
like-
She was right.
Tying it back to
Maybe
things
in
that
the
tie
tub,
us.
Mr. Beast. I'm not saying,
Ugh.
but
We need more
Maybe.
rub-a-dub-dub in the tub.
But maybe you know what? I think of guys like Mr. Beast. And I remember John Oliver's show. This tonight.
Not well, but
No, yeah. And I mean, his researchers are top notch. But they do a bit on medical debt.
oh my.
A couple years back. I think I was still a Christian at the time. And they go and buy a bunch of people's medical debt,
Yeah.
and then call them, let them know you don't owe any money anymore.
Number one reason for bankruptcy in the state.
Yeah.
Personal bankruptcy.
So I'm watching this, and I think I'm still a
Crazy,
Christian at the
crazy.
time, and I'm like, is this not Jubilee? Old Testament style, like, forgive the debts of the poor. And I'm like, why is John Oliver, this random ass British dude, doing it when churches across? Do you know what Killsong could do?
Oh my gosh.
That's a bank in itself.
No, if Hillsong tithed their money to buying out medical debt,
Instead of Carl Lentz's cocaine.
is he on coke?
Well, in New York he was.
Was he on coke?
Oh
I knew
my
he was fucking other
gosh.
women.
Yeah, he did a lot of things.
He was fucking other women on coke.
Probably.
You know what? That
They probably did
tracks.
that together.
That tracks.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, a little
Oh,
up the
oh,
booty.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Off
Classic.
the
A
booty.
little coke off the nip.
I was gonna say
Sorry,
the booty
I
or the
Little
tits.
tip up the nip.
Which one would you prefer? A little snort off the ledge or off the rack?
When you say that,
Rack.
okay. When
I
you
mean,
say that,
I don't.
what? Okay, so go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you say that, what it makes me think of
Uh-huh.
is the movie Do the Right Thing when Spike Lee is with Rosie Perez. Can you imagine as he's doing the Ice Cube scene with Rosie Perez? There's a heat wave. He does coke. That's what I was thinking.
That's
where
funny.
my mind
A,
went.
I love that. B, I'm gonna lose my black card. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay.
I know. But I'm also
Fair enough.
37.
Yeah.
And
Again, Gen
and-
X. I've already
and-
called
and-
myself out.
And
twice in this.
and French and Caribbean, right? Like
Right.
my first time seeing Coming to America, it was dubbed in French. To me,
That's amazing.
to
Yeah.
me, Coming to America is a French movie.
Okay.
I think it's funnier in French. I didn't see it
Yeah.
in English till I was fully
I
in like
feel
my
like Eddie
teens.
Murphy would be funnier.
Yo, because every actor has one voice actor that follows them their entire career.
Arsenio Hall in French?
Yo,
That's a vibe.
les amis, va chier, oui, va chier aussi, sexy chocolat. Yo, my brother and I do those bits
That's
all the
amazing.
time. When I finally saw it in English, I was
Okay.
fully like in my late teens, and it was just not as funny. The other movie that is fully in French in my head is Fievel, An American Tale. En Amérique, il n'y a pas de chat. Quand j'y pense, ça me soulage.
Like Five Goes West.
No, the first one, the good one.
He's not going west yet.
The one where
He's
his family has to immigrate to America to flee the mouse mafia. Not the mouse mafia, the cat mafia.
Cat Mom.
And they become immigrants and they have to figure out a new world. And they're like, and then he gets separated from his
Beneath the pale blue sky.
Maybe I need to watch this again.
Someone's thinking of
Sounds like an
me
Irish story.
and loving
Connect to your
me
roots.
tonight. The only reason I know the English song is because at the end of the movie, during the actual fucking credits, they play the radio edit. Because back then they would be like the movie version, and then they'd have like real singers who were on the top 40 market like sing. And even though I know how very far apart we are,
Wow.
it helps to think you might be sleeping on the same bright star. Yeah.
Yo,
Amazing.
those movies had great soundtracks.
Also, have you ever seen the Community episode where they sing that song to their mouse?
Do you want to get high with us and watch Community?
Do you get high?
Only on the spirit.
I mean, I've been drunk a few times.
I
in
mean,
my
of
life.
course, you drink beer.
The problem
When you
with
drink
me is that, I mean, the first 35 years of my life, the church
Sure.
boy in me would just not let.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that I'm, in my 40s, I love to run. Everything bothers me if it's not, just perfect. Enneagram 1 as well, so, that
I haven't heard
wants
this
to
much
have.
Enneagram talk in so long.
But yeah, again, Gen X. Like, what else do we have to talk about?
No. But if you, I don't know how deep in it, but if you want,
I can go horoscopes.
no, I don't mind. No,
Yes.
I love it.
Pisces.
I used to love me some Enneagram shit. Don't
Yeah.
you worry about it. I just haven't talked about it since I stopped hanging out with Christians. Because it was the thing.
Yeah.
It's Christian horoscopes.
It's true. It's true.
But if you ever want to have like a proper weed experience,
Okay.
we have a bud tender extraordinaire
Yeah.
at my house. So
I smoked weed last year in Grand Rapids.
okay,
I don't think I
Ooh.
got high.
Yeah.
well, that happens the first time. Generally speaking, people
Yes.
aren't
Well, it
breathing
would have
it.
been my second
They're
time.
not breathing it right.
Yeah.
I didn't get high
Okay.
the first time.
Maybe I need a
Yeah.
breathing.
But also,
Exercise
you're not
to-
supposed to just smoke anything. Most people smoke the wrong thing, which is why they have bad experiences with weed. There's so many different strains.
That's key.
Like I will go to my brother and be like, "Hey, I have to write a screenplay right now, and I need to focus. I need the voices in my head to shut down." I'm like, "Say less." He'll roll me out something. I wrote a whole screenplay high.
Wow. The way you're talking about weed is how I talk about coffee.
We
Now,
want
Let me
coffee.
find the right roast
Yeah.
and origin for you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so fletcher to carry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we're a good time.
Okay. And what are we watching again? I got
Oh, we can watch
lost.
anything. You sure you're not the unmedicated neurodivergent? No, she was talking about American Tail, the 5 movie,
Yeah. But we can also watch VeggieTales High.
or whatever.
Oh,
We are.
please, no.
We're gonna do that.
We can't. VeggieTales?
Yeah, we're gonna do it for
No.
the Patreon.
What?
Yep.
Come
For the
on.
Patreon.
I haven't watched
love
it
that.
in Sphere Growing.
Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
VeggieTales
Tales While High.
High.
It's gonna be a time.
Yeah,
Oh gosh,
And we will
You
live to
want
tell the
to.
tale.
not VeggieTales. I never.
What would
Again,
you
I'm
want?
'cause you're
older.
old.
I'm older.
because he's a geezer.
Yeah, I'm a. That's exactly.
I know what you
right.
want.
What do I want? Get me in there, like
Cameron.
Left Behind.
Carmen.
Carmen,
We need a riot,
But
a righteous
Carmen's-
invasion
Oh,
of truth.
God.
Yes.
Do you remember Carmen?
Yes.
Oh
course.
my god.
Yes.
Who's saying that you are the
Wow.
devil and the devil is bad?
Whoa.
Oh, who did
You
sing
are the
that?
devil and you are bad.
Tell us about your pastoral days if you like.
That was so fucking jarring. That was a fucking segue.
Wow. Tokyo Drift to the pastor talk.
But yeah, I feel like if to tie it all together, I feel like the Mr. Beast shit just makes me think that like
Thank
the
you.
church should.
Thank you for getting.
church-
That's a comedian at their best, right there. Knowing how to get back from the.
Do you know who really
tangents.
taught me how to do that well?
Who did that?
The Lord.
Ministry.
Lord, really?
Oh, okay.
When I was trained on how to share the gospel with people
They
through-
would get off
through
topic.
Campus for Christ. They
Let's
would
come
te-
back to the
teach you
four
no,
spiritual
they would-
laws.
exactly.
shall we?
No, they would teach you how to
Wow.
like actually bring the 4 spiritual laws to a fucking random person in the mall or whatever,
Yes.
and how if they're straight, how
I
to bring
was
them
with
back,
Campus for Christ.
Yeah,
or Campus
same.
Crusade.
Crusade.
For Christ.
Oh.
how to bring it back to
How
the
did
subject at
we-
hand. Yeah. I was very good at it.
Well done.
Very persuasive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also
Yes.
spent my early years
Transferable
in
skill, though.
sales.
Transferable
so-
skill. Yes.
I was in retail my entire high school career. So
Well done.
yeah,
Guess
thank
who's in
you.
retail now?
Yeah, that's right.
This bitch. Not you anymore.
I'm out.
You
I'm
are
out
free.
on retail. Thank
Did you leave?
goodness.
Got a new job?
He's like this.
Number one, let me tell you, this is my first retail job in my life was at 45 years old. Secondly, I can only be in retail in the space that we're in for so long because of the customer base. It
Okay.
reminds me way too much of the neighborhood I grew up in.
Ah.
It reminds me way too much of the church I grew up in.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is country club stuff.
Interesting.
I'm happy that it's in Centertown. I think that's what saves us most days. But it's tough.
Did you
It's
just
tough for
read your
me.
entire neighborhood?
It grates on me.
Interesting.
Did you just kind of read your neighborhood
Maybe.
a little bit? Tell us more about what about working where you work. Not about that, but the tie to the church space you grew up in.
Say that again?
You said it reminded you of the church space
Yeah,
you
yeah,
grew up
yeah.
in.
Yes.
Why? What about it?
Well, I mean, I grew up in a very wealthy neighborhood.
Okay.
And I went to a church that was in a very wealthy neighborhood. And people liked to be the smartest people in the room.
Mm.
They liked, because a lot of them were professionals, many executives, they wanted you to like think of their needs first.
Mm.
So like this is very against Jesus.
Yeah.
So
doesn't add up.
I'm watching people react to different stuff, and here the pastor is like just a little bitch doing whatever the rich people wanted him to do, saying whatever
the rich bitch.
whatever the rich people want him to say.
Huh.
And the I remember I also was a pastor at the same church when I got to 30.
Yeah.
But you weren't a little bitch.
No. They wanted me out of there pretty quick.
It's a good sign.
But I came in hot saying, listen, I'm bringing a voice. I'm going to bring a message that is not going to be well liked here. I don't think you guys really want me to come here.
You mean the gospel?
No. That's what we need.
The gospel of Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
The last will become first?
Yeah, that kind
the
of
first
thing.
will become last?
Yeah,
it's harder for a rich man to get into heaven than for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle. It's not a metaphor. It's actually a needle. Yeah.
And I would have to point this out numerous times. Like, these lines are in here and you guys aren't seeing them, or you think it's for somebody else. But regardless, I remember the message that made the most controversy was the Sabbath day of rest.
Interesting.
And that we're actually supposed to rest. And that we're not supposed to like over event ourselves. And we're not supposed to overwork ourselves.
I received that.
And like, I'm in Toronto, so like, financial district of financial capital of the country. And I'm telling people who are executives on Bay Street, I'm telling them, you need to rest. It's not all about the money that you make. That's not where you get your identity from. And they're like,
identity crisis?
No, we got to get this guy off the pulpit.
Also,
I'm like, I told you I was coming. I was coming.
And pastor's probably like, yo, it pays my bills.
That's right.
If they don't make money, they don't tithe.
Oh, man. That guy was in a tough place. As senior pastor.
Seeing all that around you, because you grew up in that church. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What made you decide to be a pastor?
Our little boy is coming back.
Why do it there? Why go there? There's a million churches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you think you could change
I mean, there's layers to it for sure. It wouldn't have been my first pick.
Oh, they were second pick. I love that.
I mean, there's layers like I was married to a different woman that I'm married to right now.
Right.
And she happened to be working at that church at the time.
That'll do it.
It's always a girl.
Always, it is.
It is.
Us Christian men get deceived.
Jezebel's spirit.
They're all around, just waiting for us.
Well, look what happened to
Us
David.
Innocent.
His father told him, David was out here.
I mean, David might have been 3 women in at that point. 3 wives
or in 3 women. I don't know.
I mean, also he's a rapist, but that's a different conversation.
That is
Bathsheba was not
potentially
that was
gay.
not consensual.
Oh yeah,
Potentially
so
gay.
How?
Jonathan.
I mean, maybe bi.
Yeah, bi. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe queer.
Maybe.
Who freaking
Holly
knows?
and Pan at the same time.
You know what?
Is
I
that
could
possible?
see that. But
the Bible just went on its head on that.
Yeah,
queer in the Bible.
It's in the freaking
word.
It's literally the word. Take that,
Who
Pastor.
was it though? That was
that,
like, was it Solomon telling his son not to let strange women deceive him? There's a lot of writings about that because that's what fucked him over. Women from the wrong people's.
Interesting.
Bringing in other women's cultures into his inner world.
Yes.
And turning away from the Lord.
My oh my.
So yeah, you let a strange woman bring you into the church. So.
Yeah. Strange woman.
You were deceived by Jezebel. Got it.
I was. And
the spirit.
So, anyways, I
Eve.
go there. I'm very honest with why I'm going there, and I really felt like they were maybe primed for that kind of harder message.
It was timely.
More difficult message. Yeah, I had like a somewhat of a sense that might be going on. Not fully trusting them, but open to the possibility that there could be like a great change here.
A revival.
Could be.
You
gotta hold to hope,
Yeah, that's
so the
right.
spirit
that's
was
right.
moved. Sorry.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it was like it was a comfortable kind of thing. I was also fighting, with my then wife at the time. Like we're 2 years in, and I'm doing like my damnedest to keep our marriage intact. Always a good time for a youth pastor to have like some difficulty, So anyways, I think that was just an easy pick. And I was like, okay, I know what I have to speak. And I'll speak it. Like, my parents are in the pews. What are you going to do? Fire me?
Yeah.
And my parents were like elders or board members.
It's a bit of insurance,
Yeah, exactly.
Did
you got something wrong with me? My mom's sitting right there. You going to make Sharon cry?
Didn't think so.
You don't want the
she
purse
ties 25%.
That's right. Absolutely.
My
mom definitely tithes 25%.
I used to tithe 25%.
To this day.
I didn't have money. Did you feel like, as you were like in your marital tensions, pressure to make it work in part because you were a pastor?
I think I more felt guilty that the marriage crumbled. Like I felt bad for, especially the students. I just felt like I was supposed to be someone who they could look up to, and I had to keep this together, even though it was not healthy. She definitely did not want to be in a marriage with me. I still felt like, man, I want to be able to show these kids that like marriages, because there was lots of kids in our youth group weren't from the church who had parents who went their separate ways, and it wasn't a good time for anybody. Maybe they didn't see their, one of their parents, probably their father, but so it was. I was like, I want to be that model dad.
Sure,
I want to be that model husband.
Sure.
Maybe a Messiah complex there, but
we're working on it.
Sounds about white man.
I was gonna say we're working on it.
Absolutely. So I think that was probably a huge motivator. I think if it wasn't for the church, I would have been like, yeah, we done.
Okay. And how long did you stay married?
We were together for about 4.5 years.
Ooh.
Yeah, not long, right?
No,
like,
I mean,
think about it, intense as hell.
Say the first 7 years is the make or break for what a marriage.
That's it.
Make it past 7 years, you're more likely to make it.
Yeah.
What's the thing? If it's like intense like that, for that, it feels way longer.
My goodness,
It'll burn you out real quick.
Oh, I was definitely on the burnout. Definitely. And then I say we're done. I actually said it was over. And when I did that, I was like, okay, I've got about 4 months left before I'm.
You thought they were going to
4
fire
months
you?
left because I can't stand the church as well. But 4 months left because like I knew I had no energy.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is my chance to give one last message to the students.
Bring it home.
Let's talk about forgiveness, y'all.
I love how the youth pastors are always the like rebels in the church. They're always like, let's start a revolution. And they're always the guys who are on the brink of like starting a church split. Because I've been there. I'm like, if I don't leave this church, there's going to be a split. And people are going to come with me. I should go.
But you weren't
I've
getting
been
there
too. I could have done that, but I did not want to do that.
I did not want to do that either.
As long as you were one of the pastors, it's like, if you want a bodacious wife,
come with me.
Yeah.
My hot, smoking hot wife.
Wow. Let me tell you, one of the weirdest things about being a pastor in that moment, I'm telling you, within 6 weeks of the divorce, like separation, I guess you could say at the time.
Every woman.
No.
Really?
I had church aunties come to me and be like, someone that I'm thinking about.
No,
I wasn't going for anybody. I was burnt out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need nobody but the World Cup that's
You're
about to play.
You're a good Christian
that's
man,
all
and
I
now they're
wanted.
like, I got my niece, my cousin, my auntie, my sister, my daughter
Guys,
for you. Oh, yes.
I couldn't, my bed wasn't even made yet. And these women are coming for me.
I haven't even changed the sheets, man.
These aunties.
Yeah, well, because everyone wants, the goal is to have a good Christian man.
Man of God.
A man of God.
Holy shit.
Yo, bro.
That was twisted.
Yeah.
When are you gonna hurry up and
messed
get
me
married?
up. I still really haven't talked about that fully.
Let's talk about it fully if you want.
Like, that was bizarre.
Did you feel dehumanized?
I don't even know. I mean, if we unpack it, I might get there.
Sure.
I just felt like, what are we doing?
Mm.
Like, first of all, you haven't even asked me how I am.
Yeah.
Because you don't matter.
No, really.
Just going through some trauma. No big deal.
Holy shit. That was crazy. And then I'm trying to preach like a message of forgiveness with my students. And here's aunties trying to set me up on dates with, who knows, their daughters, some of them, I'm sure. Like, it was messed.
Oh,
I
what
was
part
really
is-
messed up by that.
Was your ex still at the church?
No.
Okay.
She was long. No, she
Bye,
and like,
bye,
to be honest,
bye.
like, it was interesting. She was like going through a period of trying to figure out if she really was a Christian.
Ooh.
And that was a motivator in all of this.
Interesting.
And I was like, you don't have to be a Christian.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
You do your thing. You don't even have to show up at church service. I don't care.
What a
I
gift.
don't need some like, purse holding church lady here.
Yeah.
Like,
What
that's
horrible
not
pastor you were.
horrible.
Horrible.
Telling-
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
Woman, get beside
Yeah,
me.
right.
Woman, you
Wow.
have autonomy?
Oh my God.
What are you
Wow.
doing, Bryce?
No, that's actually really awesome, though.
Yeah. So she was going through that, and then I was like, I don't know. Like, maybe she saw things that I, really hadn't come to grips with because I was so focused on the students. I didn't really adults in the church, except for my mom and dad.
You heard that, mom and dad?
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
They're the only ones.
How old were you at that point?
I would have been 32.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
About when I left ministry.
There you go.
I turned 30.
Yeah.
I was
Around the same
on
timeline.
my way 30. Yeah. And I feel like if I had, gotten married young, that's when I would have gotten my divorced.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We
I'd
joke
be
about
so divorced.
Yeah. We've just dodged our first divorces.
That's what we
all.
did.
Good on you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And thank goodness I didn't procreate.
Oh my gosh.
My God.
Yeah.
First thing I said thanks for.
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
When I said it was done
Yeah.
was, thank goodness we did not.
Yeah.
Right?
It is finished.
Because I would still have a connection. It is finished.
Hallelujah.
Yelling from the cross behind me. It is finished. Yes.
Forgive them
You
for they
did
know
that
not what they
work.
do.
Wow. Wow. That was the miracle.
Now let me go
that
finish.
Oh. Yeah.
So through that shit, there was weird messaging from the church. You have a
No, go ahead.
who is like who were you able to turn to or find comfort or support? Who showed up for you?
Yeah, the aunties were shitty, but anyone nice to you?
Yeah.
Anyone care about you?
My guy Zaya, my closest friend.
Oh, Zaya.
Yeah. Everyone loves Zaya. Yeah, he was there. We had this weekly hangout that we would, before Google Calendar. We had our Monday nights. He'd have, class. He was still studying at York. He was in his master's. Could be wrong about that. But he was at York, and he would come in from kind of northeast Toronto. I would come in from Saga. We would meet halfway on the subway line, West End. And we would go have a pint together. We would have meal together. We'd laugh our faces off.
Yes.
We'd leave the pub. I'd probably cry my face off
Yes.
after that. But he kept me standing for sure. Another pastor.
He was a pastor?
Oh yeah.
How did you do that?
Youth group, pastor.
Jeez.
So
How many of us are
Yeah,
there?
I feel like
he was
yeah.
like he was a big part of me being able to get through those 4 months.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
to see myself over the finish line.
Thank goddess for those friends, huh?
Yeah.
We were talking about earlier. We were prepping for today, and I was like, talking about how you and Kath were some of those people for me.
Mm.
Yeah, because
We're past the 7-year mark too, Kath and I, in our marriage.
yeah,
Wow.
2016. Yeah.
Wow.
Because that was the blog post that made
Yes.
everyone angry.
Yeah.
And my therapist was like, "You don't need to go to church, be a Christian."
That's
And
very
I was
true.
just like felt so isolated. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it was you or Kath or both of you were like, "Come to worship practice."
Hmm.
And I just sat in the room.
Probably Kath.
Yeah, I just sat.
She's way more churchy than I am.
And it might have been like I was at your house for dinner or something like that.
That's probably
And then
right.
she had practiced afterwards, and so was like, "Come with."
Yes.
And I just sat in the room while everyone like sang and just like,
Okay.
just needed a place to be where I wasn't on. You were still a pastor at the time.
Yeah, luckily unpaid, so I could say even more of the things that I felt
at the place
were true.
on. I forgot the name.
It was on bank.
Whatever church you were at, pastor. You were the pastor. You remember the name of the church?
Yeah, I remember.
You don't have to name the names, but
Yeah, he's like
the one on bank. Yeah, the one
on bank. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
It was good. Like
you were pastoring.
I learned stuff. I really did. Like the truth is,
What is the
and
truth?
I tell this to my daughter all the time. Like we probably, and Catherine does too. I should also say that. But we learn most of our best lessons from mistakes, whether ours or somebody else's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through like falling flat on our face.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And in a church split, in a divorce, like those are some pretty, magnitudinal moments. I don't know if that's
pretty
a word,
brutal church
but,
split too. Huh?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No, from what I remember,
It was subpar or mid, as kids say
Yeah.
these days.
It was more than mid.
Nice.
It was beyond mid. Mid is like from what I was, yeah.
A playing church. I think that's people play a lot. They like to play. Like they like the idea, right? They like the idea of things.
Okay.
Like we want this to be something that we really do. But we'll act it out. And then if we don't believe in everything, you can like subtract some stuff and like overlook some stuff.
Sure.
But it's fun to play, right? Like
Well, it
people
feels,
like to
it feels
act,
good.
right? Yeah,
I like
you
to
feel
say
good
that
about yourself. Right? It's like performative.
Yeah, we love
people
that.
in all kinds of spaces.
I like to say
right?
that most people are practical atheists.
There you go. Practical atheists.
Yeah, if they actually believe what they say they did, they wouldn't live in as much fear or control or anxiety than they do.
Right.
If the book is real and you actually believe what's in the book, you wouldn't talk to me that way. You wouldn't vote the way you vote. You wouldn't be on your fucking knees outside of the abortion clinic because I thought God was in control.
Right.
Is the government not on his shoulders? So why are you stressed about it?
Yep.
Is he not the God of the universe?
And people wouldn't hate themselves so hard.
Oh my goodness.
That's where it all comes from. Stems from.
There's a lot of hate.
A lot of shame. A lot of fucking shit.
Yep.
Yeah. And playing church feels good.
It does.
Then I don't have to deal with my own shit.
That's right, makes me
Escapism.
feel better. Yep. The opioid for the masses, and
No,
someone said
it's
that.
Soma.
Right?
Oh.
Wasn't that Marx? Marx, the opioid for the masses.
That's good.
That makes me think of Brave New World. So like, I read that in high school for fun. I'm a fucking freak.
You went
But-
to dissociate?
And like talking about like giving soma to people to like get pleasure so they're distracted, which I think we're living. And for some people, it's drugs and alcohol and sex, and other people, it's Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Token the ghost.
Jesus was my drug for a long time.
Token the ghost.
Yeah.
I need to remember that.
We
one.
like to say that we're creating a digital space for those who secretly took the ghost.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes we bump some Israel out, and
This is brilliant, guys.
Even though we're
I
not-
need this kind of material.
We got you.
got you. That's right. When did you move here?
Not long after I left that church and separated from my then wife. It might have been the fall of 2010.
Oh,
Like 9-8. No,
The Great Fall.
the Great Fall. Yes.
Only to stand up and rise again.
Oh wow.
hallelujah!
I mean, we need resurrection.
Let's give it a
Lives,
praise
don't we?
offering to the Lord.
I'd be resurrected in front of your wife any day.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. You should. I mean, you probably hear a lot of the things from her voice, but from her mouth. But impressive stuff. I'm just waiting. Like if I get knocked off, for sure it's Lauren.
I'll get knocked
Is she replacing you?
Oh yeah, she's
I
in
can
line.
never
You were
replace
in
you, but I'm
line.
in line.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
fucking little.
I mean, you can figure out a way to replace me.
I can figure it out, yeah.
I believe in your ways, your power.
Your ways
My
are
ways are
higher
not
than
my
my
ways.
ways.
It's funny. Well before I left the church, I remember my wife Catherine had gone out with somebody. And I might have been jealous. Let's just say I was.
Yeah.
Because it's possible.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Like a friend? She was like going out to hang out with her homies?
hanging out,
Yeah.
going for a drink. And she's like, are you jealous? And I think I said, no, I'm not worried that you're going to cheat on me with a man. And she was like, oh, I didn't think that was going to come out of your mouth. All right.
I mean, fair.
Fair play.
Especially being here. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ottawa mans.
Yeah.
So back to serious shit. I'm good at these transitions, you know?
You're like
Nice.
queen
Like
of segues.
such a natch.
Yes.
Natch with your wife, snatch. Oh,
Wow.
that was too much.
Jeez.
We're cutting that out.
Editing.
It's
like,
rated R.
She's gonna have to get.
That's why Jacob gets the
She's
big
gonna have to-
bucks. Because he has to edit.
Because he has to deal with this shit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get your wife to say yes on some of this shit. Anywho,
Respect. So what's it like?
do you ever miss it?
Do I miss being a pastor?
No, that shit.
Okay, thank
Jesus. Being a pastor sucks.
you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ministry is the worst.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's
being
a-
exploited.
It's a thankless, payless job. Like you don't do it for the cash.
You definitely do
No.
not do it for the cash.
Yeah.
Unless
Oh my
you're,
gosh.
Unless you're my old pastor.
You do it for the Christ.
Oh my gosh. When executives who are on the church board told me that we are having a wage freeze,
Oh
and I
my God.
knew that their digits, like they were like making six figures, I was like, are you fucking kidding me right
Yeah.
now? This is ridiculous. I'm looking at my fellow staff members and they're like, oh yeah, wage freeze. That's what we do in economic crisis. There's not economic crisis here. There's no economic crisis. Have you
Stop.
seen the cars? Have you seen the
Stop
houses?
building the extra wing and pay me a living
Oh,
fucking wage.
It was
Did Pastor get a
terrible.
bonus this year? How big was the fucking bonus?
listen.
Does he
the
have an
only-
in-ground pool?
The only bonus I have ever had in my entire working life was this past year from the company I work.
Me too. That was my
Working
first
retail.
bonus too.
Working in retail, working in
Because
delivery
working
retail.
for the Lord doesn't pay because crooks run those places.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh!
just-
Oh my gosh!
But wait, you're still a Christian now? Are you still a Christian?
I would say I am.
All right.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if the definition is like trying to follow Jesus, that that's for me what a Christian is. Then yes, I'm a Christian.
Okay. Sure. It's vague enough.
Yeah.
Is Jesus God?
For me, like, do I know 100% or not? Obviously not. But yeah, I would say Jesus is God.
Is it at the right hand?
I don't know about that stuff.
It might be the left. It's
That's
probably
all
the left.
Roman, talk. When they
Okay.
get into that, that's all like
Ooh.
empire talk. That they're
How do you
just-
feel about atonement theories?
Oh
I'm just kidding.
shit. We're just
fucking-
this is like sword drill, but not versus.
Wow, sword drills.
Remember?
I don't know. Atonement theories,
Like-
like
I prefer like sickness. I mean, not that I'm a Christian these days, but I prefer like healing imagery over like the you suck and need to be fixed.
yeah, no,
Like all the blood and death,
No,
gore and shit is weird.
no, I
right?
don't believe
Yeah.
in what is it?
Fire and brimstone.
Substitutionary
atonement.
Yeah, no,
I used to read
don't
some
believe that
Driscoll.
stuff. It's been a long time
Same,
since I've done
same.
all this stuff, guys. No, I don't. To me, like, if the closest I get personally to understanding a creator,
Sure.
okay, and that creator's relationship with creation is my relation with my daughter.
Mm,
Mm.
She never falls out of my love.
mm.
I don't have to like kill myself so that she can now be considered good or in my books. What?
Yeah.
That's nonsensical.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I love her way too much. If she was a mass murderer, would I like that? Hell no. But she's my fucking daughter. Like,
Yeah.
I am going to love her to the very end.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, that's all nonsense. That's all people misconstruing words so that, they can make sure that people hate themselves
Mm-hmm.
so that they can keep
them in the
sucking
machine.
off the tit of the church, right?
Yeah.
So
Did you see sucking off the titty of the church?
I did.
Yeah.
That's
did.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was just so casual. I was like, wait.
I mean, it's a good metaphor.
Very
I see
good.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You haven't missed any of it?
Do I miss the church?
Sucking titties.
Any of it.
Do
you ever miss the bosom of the Lord?
Let me start with the first.
The mountains of
one,
Jesus.
The mountains of Jesus. That really doesn't do it for me.
Because Song of Solomon is about the Lord and the church, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. White Tip Mountains.
How many concubines does Solomon have? I miss getting together with people in large spaces where I think people are on the same page.
Sure.
So here's like where I go for my closest experience of what like church was.
Sure.
Right? Not like what church could be or any of that stuff, but like what church was.
Mm-hmm.
So like Sunday morning, everyone knows, I'm guessing most people who are listening to this podcast or watching this are aware of
Sunday morning gathering.
Sunday morning gathering.
You sing.
Yeah.
You pray.
You're doing some cultural things.
You
right?
learn together. You might eat together.
Yes.
Community.
So on Saturdays and Sundays, sometimes midweek, I go to the Glebe Central Pub to watch Arsenal.
Nice.
Everyone goes in. They got something Arsenal on. They got a hat, a scarf, a shirt, sometimes multiple things. Maybe the underwear's out, and it says Arsenal. Maybe the socks, whatever it is. Okay. And we get together. We high five. Some of us hug when we show up. Right? But we literally sing songs. Like they're singing songs in the stadium. We sing songs. When we hear their songs in the stadium, we're singing their songs. I literally, the last time I was at the pub was a month ago. Arsenal won a game that was like a historic game, okay, in European competition. And I was literally in tears because we hadn't been to that stage of the competition since 2010, 14 years.
Wow.
Big deal.
Yeah.
My daughter's there. She had never seen Arsenal go that far because she was born in 2014.
She's hooked.
My brother was there, who's not an Arsenal fan, but he's my brother. Like, I'm very close to my brother. Sports are very meaningful to us. So there's all this like sense of belonging in that moment. People who are older than me, younger than me, people who are watching the stadium, people are crying in the stadium, singing songs. I miss that kind of like one-mindedness, you might say. I miss that like that heartbeat is all together when it's like crazy intense and things are fluttering.
There's something in the energy. You can feel it. Yeah.
Someone's down on the ground and you're worried for them. Everyone's worried, all those things I miss. But like what's crazy is we downplay we're in the church because the church has to be the place to go to.
Right.
It's happening all around.
Yeah.
I've had those experiences at concerts.
Yeah.
I've had those experiences in my backyard with friends.
Yeah.
I've had it, all you guys know.
Beautiful moments.
But I miss that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
But probably nothing else.
Well, I think also it's kind of taken for granted that like we're talking about I think earlier today, we're just like having coffee and I was like, how singing is good for mental health and body and whatever and anxiety.
Definitely.
There's actual science behind it.
Yes.
And how when you're singing in a group full of people together 3 or 4 times a week, no one else is doing that.
There's not a lot of it.
Like if you're not religious, like I don't think anyone else is going to a place with rituals like that multiple times a week.
Powerful.
I mean, the theater kids might say otherwise.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you finish a play after 3 months and then
the next
then
play.
you can move to the next play. There's a new cast.
Yeah.
You might see some people you recognize, but
very transient.
right? Like when I used to do back-to-back musicals, I would see some people as around, but like I'm like, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, guys, we're in a week, we're gonna start a rehearsal for another show.
Yeah.
Like this is not like this can't be a life-changing moment every time. Maybe I'm a horrible human being. But also I just feel it coming from church world, I'm so reticent to some of that like emotionality around things because I'm like,
the hype.
I also like resist personality cults. I'm just like,
Right.
I've seen it. I was raised to be a cult leader. Like I could have.
Bryce is waiting.
Still
waiting.
You might wait forever, sir.
I need more cocaine, I think. If I
Yeah, no, I will never become a pastor. I shouldn't never
Although
say
one
never.
day I was hoping you would.
I know.
So
I know.
I could follow you.
I know.
That's legit.
You're not the only one.
That's
When I was in
legit.
Toronto trying to avoid ministry and Jesus, it came up a lot of times. People who weren't even Christians, like, you started a church, I would. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks. But
And the place where I
thank
said
you.
that to you, I don't know if you remember this.
I think we were
Beautiful space.
we're sitting in the window of Pure Kitchen. Right?
No,
Was it that?
just down the street. You know the place that's now G Burger.
Oh, right, upstairs.
And it has that
in the
big
window, Yeah.
looking out. Like, I don't know if the sun was shining, but I'm gonna say it was.
And you're like, I
thought
right.
maybe there was like an aha. Maybe the spirit would stir something up in that.
You're still
moment.
praying for that.
I'm still waiting, man. I'll follow Rose-Ingrid anywhere.
That's Common Eatery, where I was
Yeah.
at a church plant.
Yeah, it was probably common. Yes, you were.
In the Sunday
Yeah.
mornings. So it'd be like,
I was glad that I didn't show up there. I don't want to throw too much shade.
No, I had too much baggage at the time. I saw the harm I had
Yes.
done, and I was just very reticent of being. Even now, like,
don't trust a white boy in those moments.
sir, you don't have to tell me twice.
never trust a
True.
wife.
That's-
No, I appreciate the sentiment, and I get it. I get where it comes from, and you're not the first or the last person to tell me that. I think,
man.
and even now, like, as I'm in this era of my life, I'm learning to regain comfort in speaking
Yeah.
my mind in a public forum, if that makes sense. Like,
in your power.
because I was just very sure. And so to be so sure and so bold about that certainty,
Yeah.
and then to walk out of it and be like, I was wrong about a fuck ton. And people believed me
Right.
and trusted me.
Right.
And I brought harm into their lives. I did the best I could with what I had, but I brought harm into their lives. And there are people still in the game because I was in the game. You know?
Have you had moments where you've had to go back to people and apologize?
I told some of the youth group kids I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What were some of those stories? Because I've done that too, so I'm
just
curious.
like around purity culture. I just think purity culture is garbage.
Rape culture.
Oh yeah, and
straight
I
up.
was just
There's a lot
not
of
very
lot of
straight
truth to that.
and had a lot of trauma. So not being pure was really easy for me, and I shamed people for it 100% because
Yeah.
I'm a fucking again. Either it's the H or the tism. I'm just very dogmatic about shit. So
Yeah.
that was definitely a thing that and we're fine. Like we talked, and the kids that I did talk when they're not kids anymore, they're fucking in their 30s now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I raised them when they were teens, and their parents weren't all quite there, so I was it, even though I was like 21.
Did you have anyone who didn't accept the apology?
No, but I will say that when I left, there were people that I knew later in life from ministry who didn't understand. And I don't know if I necessarily handled it best.
Okay.
I wasn't mean about it, but like people were like, remember when we met and you said this? I really believe it was from the Lord. What do you mean you don't believe anymore?
Right.
And I'm like, that's not my problem.
Right.
And at the time I was just really broken, but I think it really hurt them.
Right.
And I didn't mean to hurt them.
Yeah.
And
it could have been truth for them at that
No,
time,
and
whether you believed it or not.
And also,
Right?
I don't think that Christianity is monopoly. At the time, I just wanted to be an atheist. I just wanted to be away from it. I just wanted to like take it off of me.
Right.
I had not integrated my parts, and so I really dismissed it because I just couldn't. And we don't talk anymore.
Right.
You know, I think it was hard for a lot of people. My move-in years, I think a lot of people from that time really struggled with me not being in the
Right.
and now I would say that Christianity is a monopoly on hearing
Right.
from the divine.
Right.
I would say that Christianity is a monopoly on morality.
Definitely not.
That I'm clearly a spiritual being. I come from a long line of hearers. You know, I'm Haitian. You know, I think it is in my bloodline to be connected to the divine and be a conduit for that, and so I no longer resist it in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd have that conversation a little differently today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that counts as an apology. If you ever watch this, you probably won't. But yeah.
Okay.
What was your experience like going back to people?
I think in general in life, not 100% of the time, but in general, I initiate in life. Someone wants to, go out.
Yeah.
I initiate us going out. someone wants to get back in shape, I'll initiate. Hey, you want to come for a run? You want to go to the gym? Whatever
Nice.
it is.
You're a pursuer.
That's I am. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And so there were moments where I gained new information about students. I wasn't too
Yeah.
about the adults. The adults.
Yeah.
But if I was supposed to be a leader, an influential person, a model to someone, I would. So I remember there was a few students who came out after they were in the church. They left the church and they had come out. And every single time I felt awful. Like, what did I say? And more importantly, what harm might I have caused? And so I reached out to every single one of them to say, I'm so proud. Whether you need to hear this, you probably don't. Whether you want to hear this, you probably don't. But I'm just so proud of you for being courageous, for taking this step, for being honest about who you are for yourself.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And I am so sorry I harmed you. And I don't think I had anybody come back and be upset about that. Some of them didn't respond.
That's fair.
That's fine. You don't have to. You don't owe me shit. But I remember feeling just awful.
Yeah.
That I could have caused.
Oh yeah.
Harm.
Took me a long time. There are places in town I won't go to. I don't think I've been back to Caldwell.
That's what we were talking about this morning. Is like how, like, what have you found that's helped to like forgive yourself?
Yeah.
Because we feel it.
The key.
That's like the liberation. That's the freedom, is when you can truly forgive yourself. Because it's just, you just feel gross thinking about.
I just got to be like, I was telling Laura, I was like, look, at the end of the day, it's not your fault. As much as you go, oh, I brought this into someone's life and it was harmful, someone like you are just as much a victim of the system as that person was. And we're all doing the best we could with what we had. And so the shame's not helpful.
Right.
The guilt's not helpful. At some point, you need to forgive yourself for not knowing better.
Yeah.
You make restitution where you can, but you're allowed to be okay and be happy being free now.
Yeah.
And be better and know better because you know better. Is there, if you could talk to, the former pastor in you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or I don't know. I don't know. I feel like
there's some conversations I'm thinking about, like, I don't know. What would I wish I could have changed that.
Or what would you? I don't know. Like we're landing this plane. I love that fucking metaphor. There's a creature in me. Let me land the plane. Is there, if you could share a word of wisdom with your past self that's struggling to come to terms with it all? What'd you do? What would you say?
Oh man. I had a mentor, really important guy in my life, still in my life, not to the same extent, but still important guy, fundamental in kind of me being raised as an adult. Forget about as a kid. My parents did a pretty good job at that, but he raised me to be a good adult. And he said to me before I got into church work world that I needed to know and use the word no a lot. And he said that for my own protection, obviously. But I think it came up in many different ways as well. But I wish I could go back and say that in different ways, not no to other people. I needed that as well, but I already had that in my repertoire, luckily. But no to like my ego. You have to say no to your ego. Because what are you motivated to do here? Why is that theology? Yeah. Why are you using that? You're using it.
Yeah.
Why are you picking this moment to like discipline somebody in the manner that you might be disciplining them? Why are you using this like so much of my early days as a church minister was so driven by my ego. So driven. And yeah, to say, hey, yo, you are just the creation there, buddy. You know, again, going back to that messianic complex. And yeah, if I could do that, I think I would have saved a lot of people, you know, negative experiences. And I probably would have saved myself a lot of paths that I went down. I could have redeemed some time. And may have, if I really was honest, may have like stepped away earlier from ministry. Who knows? Maybe even the church. Because I think there was like, oh yeah, like if there's one person that can speak to this group of people, right?
If I don't do it, no one can.
Who will? No, shut up. No.
I'm called to this.
No.
That's a lot of pressure too.
It is.
Yeah,
it is a lot of pressure. And like, you know, in the church world, there's a lot of stats, just like sports, that come out. How many baptisms? How many conversions? How many people are in your youth group?
How many people have
you're
brought to the
fully
Lord?
Evangelical.
Oh yeah,
we
evangelicals had stats like baseball stats.
Yeah,
you know?
It had stats.
And you would write that shit down. Maybe not share it with everybody.
Yeah.
But you had it so that you could use it anytime you were in a board meeting. Or I tried not to do it. Like I could see how gross it was with my fellow youth pastors.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care how big a youth group is.
Yeah.
You know, if your dick's small, your dick's small. Like, you know, like that's not on me, man. That's not for me to deal with. You know, so I was good at least checking myself in those spaces, but there are lots of other ones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what I would say. You know, get that ego checked. You know, say no to that self. That guy's not helping you at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trouble.
Saying, what do you need, ego? You really need.
Yeah. Dang, man.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun. Glad you're here.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. We like to end with talking about how we're cultivating joy in our life this week.
Okay.
Or what are you looking forward to in the week? Or like,
all right.
How are you going to show up for yourself?
How you show up for yourself this week. So,
how am I showing up for myself?
Like in the upcoming week, what are you going to be doing that's going to bring joy or life into your life?
Yeah. So I've already talked about my fanaticism,
yes,
fandom, as someone who loves sports. So it's the NBA playoffs are coming up.
Ooh.
And again, one of the ways that I connect with people is through sports.
And eating chicken wings.
I love to eat chicken wings.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you have any, recommendations out there for chicken wings, now that Yanksy's closing, that was one of my go-to places.
We need a new place.
We need a new place?
Yeah.
New wing place?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go for wings.
we got to find the right place. Wherever it is.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's homework. That's homework, guys. We got homework after this.
But wings bring us
the playoffs are starting this week. Are the Raptors playing? Is that what it is?
Oh gosh, no. The Raptors are terrible this year. They tanked all
then
year.
Which team is bringing you joy?
No. That's why the league brings me joy at this time because the playoffs are going to start. But what I do is I initiate and I build community around sports, as I've always done. Like even when I was, in the church, I always brought sports and athletics into the mix. But
the best.
I have like 10 friends, most of who are dads, but not all.
Yeah,
who are like needing to get out of the house. their partners, spouses are like, you need to get out of the house. Take some of the kids with you while you're at it as well. And we just hang out, talk life, yell at the TV for a while.
Therapy.
And watch guys do some of the most freakish things on the planet athletically. The NBA is filled with these unbelievable freaks of nature. They really are so impressive. That's why I have a podcast about the NBA, because I admire these guys so much. Cool. And we will watch basketball and hopefully good chicken wings.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
So that will bring me joy this week. What about you guys? Do you guys talk about your joys, or is it just the guest?
No, we usually do.
Okay, good.
Just you. No, I'm just kidding. You go.
You sure?
Yeah.
Shit. I told you.
Do we really have to do this?
I'm just kind of burnt out. So it's just
That's fair.
My brain is not oriented around joy right now.
Yeah. Maybe just taking
Songy
the
Fitness.
pressure
We'll
off.
be at Songy Fitness this week.
No. I wrote to Canada. It's far.
Yes.
I should go. I miss Singy. Shout out to Singy.
Great to
I'm doing some comedy this week.
Okay.
I got 2 shows this week. I'm doing a 420 show. You
Yes.
get high. You get high, tell jokes.
420.
Amazing.
On the weekend.
Damn.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like comedy. Comedy reminds me that my life isn't horrible. And that there's always something to laugh about, I'm working on a new bit too. So
Ooh, exciting.
yeah,
Group therapy in comedy.
It's pretty much what it is.
There you go. Laughter is medicine.
What
We all
it
need
is.
that.
Yeah,
like
the nieces
singing.
are at the house this week. There's always a plus because they're kids and they remind me that life is so much simpler.
Yep.
Mm.
And I'm telling some jokes.
Okay. I think I just need to go be by the water.
Nice.
Just
Do
like it really grounds me.
Yep.
And just taking like a moment for myself to just be.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's important.
Well, you heard it here first, y'all. Go take time for yourself.
Do it.
Learn to say no.
Yes.
Blessing today is you're allowed to say no.
Say yes to yourself.
No is a full sentence.
Mm.
Community is worth it wherever you can find it.
Mm.
And,
Watch out for them cult leaders.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Blessings.
Trust your gut. If they're sus in your gut, they're sus.
Sus gut. Hashtag
Okay, we
sus
love you.
gut.
Bye.
Bye.